Affinity Designer has so many built-in features meant to save you time, and if you've been skipping them, you are working way too hard. I'm gonna walk you through 10 hacks super fast. You're gonna have smoother strokes, instant pattern repeats, one-tap color swaps across your whole illustration, and more. And by far, hack number 6 is my favorite, so make sure you stick around at least for that one because it has made such a huge difference. And if you have a workflow like I do, it's gonna make your life so much better. So first up is the stroke stabilizer. If your lines feel a little bit shaky or they're just not that smooth flowing stroke that you want, this is your fix. When you're using a pixel brush or a vector pencil, you can turn on a stabilizer from the context toolbar. You can switch it from no stabilizer to a window stabilizer, and you'll see the stabilizer slider right there on the side. Bump it up and suddenly your strokes are much smoother, and it doesn't slow down your drawing, it just refines it in real time. If you've ever used Procreate, this is the same sort of setting like their streamline settings in their brush studio, but I kind of like Affinity's better because you have a little more control over it. It's not brush specific, so no matter what you're using, you can turn this on and off at any point when you're making your illustrations. This is really great for anyone that is doing line work or illustrations and you want smooth lines, or if you don't want smooth lines at all. And if you're thinking, Haley, everybody knows this hack, why are you telling everyone this one? Well, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get into the next one. So now we're ready for number 2, and this is another one of my favorites, and it's power duplicate. So if you need to repeat an element across your canvas, whether it's in a pattern or a grid or a repeating border, you don't have to copy, paste, and manually move it over and over. Once you move your element, Affinity will kick in power duplicate. It remembers the exact offset and just keeps repeating it. Affinity for the iPad automatically uses this feature for you when you keep selecting duplicate from the edit menu. And so this is a real time saver, especially if you are repeating an element and just moving it over little by little. You can build an image with repeating elements, and a lot of the work is going to be done for you. So number 3 is Symmetry Mode. There are lots of reels and shorts where someone is showing their drawing process and their illustration is being mirrored on another part of their canvas, and Affinity has that functionality as well. And it's inside the pixel persona. You can mirror your drawing across horizontal, vertical, or even on a diagonal axis. You draw on one side and the other appears automatically. This is really helpful for character design or mandala illustrations. If you like making those, you see someone making it online, you want to try it too, you can do it in Affinity, or anything where you need that perfect mirrored look for any reason at all. And you can turn it on and off really easily. It's not buried in the settings, and I just think it's really cool. Number 4 is constraints, and if you've ever needed to line up something perfectly, this shortcut is for you. This is what gives you perfect alignment instantly, because normally when you're moving or drawing something, it's really easy just to be slightly off. Your lines aren't perfectly straight, your shapes aren't perfectly even, and these are little things that add up. But with constraints, Affinity gives you the ability to lock things in place and move them precisely. So here's how it works. Whenever you're dragging an object, drawing a line, creating a shape, just hold one finger down on the screen, and now your movement snaps to clean directions, perfectly horizontal, vertical, or at set angles. And the same thing with shapes. You want a perfect circle or a square, you just hold one finger while you draw. It also works with adjusting nodes on a shape in a straight line. And this is one of those habits that feels small, but once you start using it, you'll find that it really speeds up your process and there's a lot less cleaning up to do later on. And with less cleanup, that's time saved. Okay, so number 5 is another one of my personal favorites. Not my life-changing favorite, but it's another one of my favorites. And it's called Select Same. So let's say you've made an entire illustration and you have a specific color or a specific shape that has been repeated across the canvas, but you want to make a change to it. And especially like the color. This is really great if you want to change color across an entire canvas. Once you turn on the select tool or the black cursor arrow, you can scroll over to the top menu and to the same spot and then open up those options. You can select items with the same color, stroke weight, shape, etc., and then make changes to them all at once. So I can select an object like this purple moon and then choose same fill color and change them all to pink instantly. This is a great tool for me because I struggle with color palettes a lot, and this allows me to test out different color combos super easily. So now we're to hack 6, and this is by far the most meaningful one to me, and it is the export persona. In a previous video, I was sharing with you how I create SVG bundles, but I didn't know how to bulk export from Affinity Designer 2 on the iPad, and I finally figured it out. So let me go ahead and show you what to do. When you're using Affinity Designer 2 and you have multiple artboards and you want to export them all at once, you follow these steps. Here's an SVG project I'm working on. The first thing you want to do is have each element you want to export separately in a bulk export into different artboards. Then you can rename each of the artboard in the layer panel, and then when you save each of these, they're going to have that name. Now switch to the export persona. Here is where you can set up multiple export slices, different sizes, different formats like PNG, SVG, DXF, EPS, and then export everything in one click. Well, one click per file type. Once you open the export persona, the Slices Studio will open up on the side. Tap on the Slices options and then choose your file type. Then tap on Export and choose a spot on your iPad that you'd like them all to save to. It takes a few moments, but soon all of your files will populate in this folder as separate files with their proper names. And that is a huge deal for me because I've shown I make SVG bundles and it's usually 50 or more illustrations. Right now, my process has been making them on the iPad and then exporting them to my desktop computer to organize all of them. And if I can do a lot of that work just on my iPad, it makes a huge difference because I can do this work anywhere. I'm not stuck on my computer. So I just really love this feature because it helps me with my art business. It's made a huge difference. Okay, moving on to hack number 7, and this is with the pencil tool, and it's the automatic closing, or auto close, or close always, or close near, whatever you want to call it. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. If you draw a lot of freehand shapes with a pencil tool, you can select close always from the context toolbar at the top. Now when you draw a shape and bring your line back near where you started, Affinity automatically closes and fills it for you. This is really helpful, especially when the shape you're drawing has a stroke and a fill. If you don't have close always turned on, you will still get a completed fill, but your stroke line won't be connected. But if you have close always turned on, no matter where you lift up your Apple Pencil, it will close it for you, and your stroke and your fill will automatically all be connected. This tool also allows for some versatility because you can also choose close near, and it will only close the shape if your Apple Pencil ends close enough to where you started. So there may be times when you don't need your shape to close and other times you do, and this is good for that. And if you're someone that does a lot of line work and fills, this one's going to really help you out. This is a huge time saver because you don't have to clean anything up. So number 8 is transform separately. And this is another one of those tools that feels tiny until you realize how much time it really does save. So let's say I have a bunch of little flowers, stars, dots, or icons selected. Normally, if I resize or rotate them all at once, Affinity treats them like one big group. So everything scales together from the outside edges. But with transform separately turned on, each object transforms around its own center point. So now I can select a whole bunch of elements, resize them, rotate them, or adjust them, and they each change individually instead of acting like one giant object. This is especially helpful when you're making patterns, confetti style backgrounds, or scattered florals where you want a bunch of elements to feel more varied without editing every single one. It's a really simple feature, but it's tools like these that make you feel like you're using Affinity to its full potential. So number 9 is one of those things that kind of feels like a secret, but it's not, and it's the Glyph Browser. If you've ever downloaded a cute font and thought, why does mine not look as cool as the preview? Here's what you can do to make sure that you get everything out of the font that you've downloaded. A lot of fonts come with alternate glyphs. They're basically just different versions of the same letter. Think swoops and curls and decorative additions, just like all the fun stuff of a font. So here's how you use it. Type out your word like normal, then grab the text tool, open the text studio, and then go to the Glyph Browser. Inside there, you'll see all the alternate versions available for that font, and you can just tap on one and swap it out instantly. So instead of a basic A, you can switch to a more decorative version. Same with the letters like G, Y, S. Those are usually the ones that have the most personality. Anything that goes below the baseline will have something kind of pretty coming off at the end. This is great because if you want these flourishes, you don't have to draw anything from scratch, and you're unlocking what's already built into the font that you've downloaded or even purchased. For instance, I like making baseball jerseys for my husband, and this feature helps me make them look really authentic. So if your lettering ever feels a little bit flat, just open up the Glyph Browser. There could be a more fun version of that letter hiding in there. So now we're to number 10. This is the last hack we're going to talk about today, but that is refining vectors with the Sculpt Tool. And this is a feature that is going to help making vectors feel a lot less technical and just a little bit more freeform and like drawing. Because normally when you're editing a vector, you have to go node by node, making those adjustments, and sometimes it just takes a long time that you don't really have, and this is a shortcut that's going to help you out with that. So here's how it works. Grab the vector pencil, and then up in the context toolbar, switch on Sculpt Mode. Now, instead of clicking one node at a time, you can just literally drag along the path. As you drag, Affinity pushes and pulls the curve for you, adjusting multiple nodes at once. This is helpful if you used a pencil tool and had traced over a sketch. This is how you clean it up fast without getting stuck in node by node editing. So instead of fighting with your vectors, turn on the sculpt mode and shape it the way you want. So those are my 10 hacks in Affinity Designer that I genuinely use all the time and have made such a difference in speeding up my workflow. And that's really important to me. I don't want to be stuck making something for days on end. And there is so much power to this app. Just talking about 10 of these features makes it feel like we've barely scratched the surface with this app. But which one of these features are you excited to try? Let me know in the comments, and if there is Affinity hack that I didn't talk about in this video, let me know, and maybe it's one that I haven't used yet and is gonna change my life as well. And if you wanna see some of these hacks in action, I've got 5 Affinity projects that you can try right now in this video, and I will see you there.